Today I'm sharing some thoughts on why I'm a little disappointed in the direction I've seen the craft and art community take lately. I'm about to ruffle some feathers. However, I think it's an important conversation to have, so I'd love for you to stick around. I feel we've let ourselves down and we need to support each other more and think twice before we push more products onto each other. This goes for more than just the mixed media community. It's the stamping community, colouring in community, it's everyone. So I would love if you share this to all your art and crafty friends because it's a conversation that we need to have. I'm Danny, I'm a mixed media artist, and lately I've been really disappointed with what I've seen amongst my fellow crafters. I feel the overconsumerism has just gotten out of hand. The overconsumption is ridiculous, but more so, the pushing between crafters to buy is just, the pressure is just ridiculous. I saw a post where somebody said, "Do I need to get a certain product to be able to do something?" And to be honest, the product was just the same as the other releases, and a whole heap of people jumped on board to pressure this person to purchase the new release. And I felt that that was the saddest thing because, to be honest, that release was exactly the same as the last few releases. And um, just so that this person could purchase from this person or company. And I thought that there's no honesty there. You've got to have some integrity and to pressure this person that put her heart on the line and said money was hard, her husband had been laid off, and for these people to jump on and say, "Yes, you need it," was just ridiculous. So let's chat about it. I'm going to do this fairy art journal page while we chat about the overconsumption in the art world. I'll do a bit of a tutorial and we'll have a chat while I create this art journal page, and I'll have a rant. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so to start with, I've popped a piece of a novel page out, and I'm just gluing it down with some collage medium. It's my favourite type of glue. I just find it really easy to work with. I've sealed my pages down, and then I've grabbed, I'm going to grab some collage images as well and pop them down. So um, I'm just going to do a simple page for this because I want to have my chance to rant. Um, so as I was saying, I think um, when you're dealing with people who are asking a question like this, do I need something? Um, I think you need to be honest. I know that people have alliances, they love companies or they love people, and they want these companies and people to do well. But let's be honest, um, when a release looks exactly the same as another release, you don't need you don't need to buy them. You can get along without them. When they've got other products, they don't need them. They'll be fine without them. You can say no, you'll be fine without it. Putting pressure on somebody who doesn't have the means to do it is not a fair way. That's not fair on that person. Um, she's that person was in financial strain, as a lot of people are in this day and age. I know that we want um, these companies to do well, but I think putting pressure on people to spend money that they don't have is a really unfair thing to do. And I think we need to have we need to look out for our community and say, no, you don't need them. You'll be fine without them. And to be honest, if you're doing something like mixed media, you don't need to spend any money. You can get images online, you can print them off, you can go to your stash and use them. You don't need to spend any money. Um, so I was very disappointed when I saw that community post. There was a heap of people saying, yes, yes, you have to buy that release, and it was just very disappointing. So these images are things that I've printed off. I think they might be available in my Ko-fi shop. Um, but again, they were just printed off sitting there in my stash. So I'm just popping them down. This is just a simple mixed media piece while we chat. I also find in these groups sometimes there's an element of competition um, for who has the biggest collection of art supplies, which I find a little bit makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I think that's unnecessary as well. You know, if you can get a big collection, I'm not going to lie, I have a great collection of art supplies, um, but I've also been doing it for a while and for a long time. So that's wonderful too. But, you know, I think when there's competition and people compete with who has the biggest and best collection, I think that breeds some overconsumption because maybe people have it for the wrong reasons as well. So I think sometimes, you know, our community is not doing the best. So in this picture, I love that the picture is a little bit sort of misty and out of focus, and I'm really trying to pick that up in this background. So I'm using a lot of this gesso to really soften the background and get that out of focus sort of look. So I'm following that through. Okay, I'm going to give this a dry off and then I'll be back. I'm just giving the images a bit of a brush over with a gesso, but not, and then wiping it off just to give it a little bit of a misty look, but not too much. Okay, so I've glued her down and I've grabbed out some earthy colours in my fluids. And I'm going to just do some finger painting. I think she looks kind of earthy to me, so I'm not going to worry too much um, because I'm going to have quite a few layers of these colours, so it's going to look quite messy at first, but I know as I build up colour, it's going to look better. So I believe In communities, it breeds overconsumption through competitiveness. Who has the better art supplies, who has, the whole collection. Look what I got in the post today, that type of thing. Um, you know, it's just sometimes it can be a little bit much. If you sit back and watch, you can always see. You can watch. And I just think in this day and age, with the economy the way it is, you don't need this pressure. You know, it's supposed to be a hobby where you create art and you do it to enjoy, and yet you're there. People are there doing it for other reasons. Okay, I'm going over with this gorgeous goldy color now, um, and yeah, I'm just going over the top. I'm making sure I'm going over the edges, and that's sort of blending that very straight image, rectangle image into this page. Some people find these rectangle images difficult to work with. I just find if you blend your image onto your page, then to me they look okay. But some people do find them difficult to work with. I know I've shown my hauls before, and some might argue that it's the same thing, but sometimes it comes across as a competitive nature rather than a share. And sometimes when it becomes obsessive, sometimes it's an obsessive nature behind certain makers or certain companies. And that's when I think it becomes an issue because some people become rather obsessive behind certain brands or certain people, and they really tend to push, that product line or that company or that person, and that you need everything that that person puts out. Then that's when it becomes overconsumption or overconsumerism, and then that's when it becomes a problem. And you're not looking out for the community, you're looking out for that company or that person. And that's when you're doing the community a disservice. So I think people really need to think about, what they're doing when they're posting in these groups and they're interacting with the community. Okay, I'm gonna go over this with a bit of a distress crayon. I'm gonna see if I can save this because I'm not liking it at all at the moment. And just like that, I've saved it. Isn't it funny? Just your instincts kick in and you grab something out and go over it, and automatically, I love it. So it's just sort of taken that bold color down and sort of grunged it up, and it's more me all of a sudden. Um, yeah, so I thought like a waxy based sort of a substance would go over that paint okay. And it really helps, funny this, but it really helps if you use the right end of the crayon. Just a tip for you. Um, and then, yep, so just rub that in. So this is what I'm going to do. Just go over basically the orange, but also that green. I'm not too crazy about. And um, just tone it down a bit, sort of bring it down a bit, and then I'll probably grab out some gesso and push it back even further. Another rise, I think, to overconsumerism in the craft and art world has been social media influencers. I see them pop up, and I think they think that eh, making, I think, junk journals or even coloring, maybe some mixed media, it's sort of an easy way to make content without being passionate about the subject. And people see that they need what they have, and that breeds over consumerism, which is a real shame because it's not, you don't need everything that I have, you don't need what they have. You should use what you have, but you should actually use what you have. Don't just keep it um, in your collection. I'm quite liking this. I'm liking the colours now. It's really sort of that crown's made the colour sit back. They look a little bit more earthy than they did before. So I'm liking this. I saw somebody on TikTok talk the other day who had just piles and piles of colouring and books, and she hadn't touched any of them. And I just thought, why would you need that many colouring in books when, I would imagine they would take a very long time to complete one. Why would you need that many? And I would imagine she would probably have been influenced by, social media influencers to purchase all those books. So I'm sure that overconsumption in, other crafts is a massive problem there as well. So it's just something that we all need to be mindful of and really help other people in the community. And if somebody's struggling with wanting something but not being able to afford them, just maybe reassure them that they'll be okay if they can't get it right now. Use what they've got, and then later down the track they can grab it if they still want it. But there's always something new. There's always something that you want. It's not going to be the end of the world if you don't get it, because a month down the track there's going to be something else that you want anyway. This page is coming together so well. I'm just loving how it's all blending together really nicely. I've decided it needs a little bit more yellow, so I'm blending some extra yellow in amongst the different images just to blend everything together, and it's making it come together really nicely. I'm loving the sort of ethereal, earthy kind of tones it's got. It's it's looking really sort of misty, magical. Even with my rant being a little bit distracted, I think it's really nice. I'm going to finish up with this yellow, then we'll pop a sentiment saying on it. I'll go around the edges with some chalk and finish up. Just edging this with a bit of black chalk. Um, I think that's looking really good. And then I'll stick on the sticker. I'm just going in the corners. I always like to go in the corners. So here we are, all finished. I love it. I think that it's just gorgeous. I've popped the Be Authentic, run around it with a Stabilo oil. I've popped a die cut on for embellishment, and I think it's lovely. So just to finish up, I just want to say that I really think that we owe our fellow crafters and artists more. It's good to be supportive of the businesses out there, but we don't need to promote overconsumption. We should be telling people to use what they've got, to don't get not to get discouraged if they can't afford everything. You don't need everything. You know, these companies that have monthly releases of, you know, of stamps, um, sprays, books, it gets ridiculous. We don't need it. Use what you've got. Use what you've got. Okay. Um, it's just, I think social media is promoting spending what we've got, what we don't have, and at the moment we don't have it. And that's okay. That's okay. You don't need to compete with everyone else. Just enjoy your craft, enjoy your art. If you're looking for a supportive, engaging community, join the Glittered Roses. We're a paper artist group. We do mixed media and other paper crafts. We have two monthly um, two monthly challenges that you're welcome to join. And I would love you to join. Um, if you're looking for this collage sheet, it's in my Ko-fi shop. Not pushing you to join, but it's only $5 Australian a month, which works out at $3.50 American. It's not going to break the bank. There's a couple of my images in there. But thanks so much for watching till the end. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I would love if you share this video. I think it's an important message. Let's support each other. Let's not push products. It's not worth it. Thanks guys. Till next time. Bye for now.